Welcome to I Have HIV, a podcast dedicated for people living with HIV, their friends, and family. A Paws Impact and Antonio T. Smith Jr. production. Welcome to I Have HIV. Damaged to speak. We lie here naked. Yeah, you worry about me.
We are currently still living in the pandemic with HIV. HIV has not gone anywhere since the 80s, and we have to bring it to the front. We need to reach zero new transmission, and the only way that we're able to achieve this is by bringing it back to the forefront of the community and bringing different voices of the community and making sure that this while this disease is very manageable, it's not curable. So what we need to do is we need to prevent it from happening. And there's several new drugs that are out there, and we're going to be talking about what PrEP is, what all these different medications that are out there now that you can control. You can take it to prevent 99%. You will basically have a 99% chance of not getting HIV. Its effectiveness is 99.9%. And so nothing in life is more than 99%. And so I am living with HIV is very important because right now no one's talking about what HIV is. And no one's really discussing. Yes, we know that it's out there. Yes, we know that our Black and brown brothers and sisters are dying from this. Our trans community is affected. Our LGBT people are more affected. You know, we have to bring back the conversation to the community and have the community be involved in the conversation.
Hey, online, real simple.
Yeah.
Go to register online, computer aided, put my courses in, they see if the classes feel or not feel, print it out, you ready.
No.
That was it.
No, it don't work like
It wasn't.
But it wasn't for that. And then remember, they used to have these folders where they would check and see if the class was open, if it's another sticker, because if it's no more stickers, that means that there's no more classes. Oh, wait a minute, let me see if they're going to bring some more stickers. And you had to wait till they call the dean and see if he going to print out some more stickers. So you waiting there maybe about an hour or two because he wasn't in no rush to bring it. So I'm like,
He didn't even want
stamp the paper, then go stand in a long line, go stand in another line. That's a 3-day process.
All right, that's enough of that. This is one of our HBUs. We got to hold it up high.
Yeah, I hold them up.
Stand behind it because some schools didn't open doors for us. And they open the door for you. You walk in to get that education.
I do my stand by my school, but I gotta tell them, y'all gonna have to do something about this here. Come on. Cause I mean, it's still going on. And my mom went there in the 70s. Okay, it's 2019. Why are we still doing the same thing? Why? Why haven't we moved? I just don't understand. Or somebody out there listening that's TSU, call me. Why aren't our computers, if I'm registering and I'm in the school of business, why aren't these computers connected so you can find out how many classes I need to do? I shouldn't have to walk way to the school of business to get my paperwork, then come back to the registrar's office, then they check it, oh, they forgot this, then I got to walk back down. See, that's what my husband said.
I've been telling him, I'm going to drop you out. You call me when you're ready.
I ain't even going back. My mama had to go back because they know I was going to break down. I'm like, I know this the end.
She kept saying,
I can't make it, y'all.
I'm sick of it.
I can't make it.
I'm sick of it.
And it was like 100 degrees that day, and we were just walking back and forth. I'm like, I can't do this. He's like, come on, you got to do it. I'm like, oh. And then when we graduated that day, everybody like, why nobody smiling in the line? We like,
Y'all know what we in
y'all only know what we in through. They're like, why ain't nobody smiling? Y'all smiling. That's what the dean, the president, and we like, The only reason I am because they made me come to this graduation. I just wanted to pick up my paper. I didn't want to go. I'm like, I can pick up my paper. I done passed out my classes. I could pick up my degree. Well, they'll mail it to you. I said, you can just put mine in the mail. I ain't even have to go. But I love our our HBUs, but we're gonna have to do better as a people. That's what you were saying about, the women. We have still in our community, we have so many things that we still need to get over. That's like if she have a massage therapy business, why can't I support her?
Right.
Why can't I support her?
And that's what irks me, because y'all gonna spend $500, $800 on a Beyonce ticket,
right?
But I'm asking for $30 for a massage, and y'all complaining because it's black owned or this and that. Like, I don't understand that. Like, why can't we support our own? That's how all the money stays in the community. That's how we build.
Yes.
That's how we build and get other things.
That's how
if I help you, then when you help somebody else, they help somebody, and it's a chain reaction. I don't understand that.
I don't know why we can't do that. We need to come together and be able to support each other instead of tearing each other down. Like if you have a shop, why can't I just, like I had did something for her. She said, I want to give you a pair of shoes. I'm like, no, I'll buy the shoes because I don't want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
That's your business.
I told you, I said,
that's your business.
She's like, no.
That's your business. That's your academic. I don't do things like that. I support your business. Try to get you more customers. I don't want to take from your business, because if I take from you, how can I get my blessing? I just truly won't be able to get my blessing. So, what time is it?
8.
Okay, I'm still good.
Oh!
You just came?
It finally kicked in.
Okay, that's all right. We good. We had she had 2 people, and Miss Carol said she's at work. She wants me to give you her number. Okay. She had been through, she said, about 15 years of domestic violence, and nobody in her family never know what she went through. And by you finally speaking and telling your story, she has the courage now to want to talk. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yes.
Tell her to stop. She's going to make me cry. Tell her I'm so proud for
she
real.
Was at
like,
work. She came back on. Yeah, Miss Carol, she said, tell her, she said, she can reach out to me. She wants you to reach out to her.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and she's been through all of that, and she said she never talked about it. Nobody ever knows. So I'm trying to figure 14 years. So how maybe she was out of town. Maybe he moved out of town, isolated her. Because if I have a daughter, I'm like, if I'm talking to my family, I'm talking to my relatives. Wouldn't somebody know something 14 years?
A lot of times, you don't want to tell your relatives, especially with me. I had.
But like you said, your face was all bruised and beat up.
Well, see, I didn't go around my family.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's probably
what
what
happened. Out the way, nobody knew.
Yeah, that's probably what
I have
happened.
a lot of boy cousins in my family, so I knew if I said something, I didn't want my cousins to get in trouble behind me.
I remember you saying that.
So I didn't want to put that on.
Yeah, because she said that. I'm like, how you do that for 4? Yeah.
We had we had a class that just graduated from Project Lead, which is a 17-week course that teaches you about HIV, especially here in Houston. Mm-hmm. And one of our classes was intimate partner violence. And one of our projects was one person had holded 7 strings, and then they gave us everything to say. And one string was the pastor. You go to your pastor, and your pastor says, "It's okay, stay in your marriage. You're okay." You drop that string. Then another friend, you go to another friend, you tell him, "Hey, I'm being abused." "Oh, it's okay. You'll get through this. Don't worry about it." Another string drops. So you have all these strings that drop, and at the end of the day, you're the one holding all the piles in the card. So it's not really easy to say to somebody like, "Oh, get out," because you just don't know what their financial situation is, what their economic situation is, if they have kids, if they fear for their life for whatever reason.
Especially when you have
it's
kids.
just it was such a mind opening that you can go to so many different people and nobody gives you the help that you need.
And that's why I say it's so hard that women don't want to say anything, because again, if I tell you and then you don't believe me, or just, "Oh, you just trying to do this for attention," or girl, stay in there, that's you, it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's like, I have nowhere else to turn to. So why?
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
have
the
to
same
sit
thing
here.
with the rape victims. So you pretty much all in the same category.
Yeah,
with that,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? You don't want to go out and tell nobody because you don't want to feel judged,
Yeah.
you know, vice versa or whatever.
You were wearing a mini skirt. What
Yeah,
were you
yeah.
wearing?
Yeah,
What-
yeah.
Where
Yeah,
were
it
you?
was
Where
your-
were
it was
you
your
at?
fault.
Yeah.
If
Where
you
were
were-
you
yeah.
coming
If you
out?
hadn't had your
Yeah.
legs showing, then he wouldn't have did it. Like
It's
That's
just
unnecessary.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
unnecessary.
No
And
means no.
Since
Yeah.
you said that, we were at a church. Remember how one of the ladies was in domestic violence at the church? You remember she went to the pastor
Yeah.
and he told her, I mean, literally beat down. He told her, go pray about it and stay in your marriage.
Yeah.
Wow.
He sure did.
A pastor.
A pastor. Yeah.
Yeah,
mean, that's
I remember
yeah.
that. And at night, her and her children would be there, and he'd be shooting down them, running down the street, and I'm like,
And see,
I just
people don't know what you go through behind that closed door. See, when you're out, you feel like, oh, somebody can save
So
me.
I mean, for a pastor or somebody, I mean, if a lady would come to me, I remember when the kids were small, I had went to the grocery store, and there was a lady around the corner. Remember, her husband was beating her, and she came and she beat on the
Right.
door,
She
and he
came
let
to the
her
house.
in, and the man was trying to find her, but she was safe in our house till somebody had came, and got her. And that's what I'm saying. I just don't understand if a lady would come to me and she's all beat, battered, and bruised, I would send her back to that
Yeah.
situation. I'm just not understanding that.
Because your train of thought is not like that. Because for women, we see someone needs help.
Yes.
We off the bat, I don't care who did it, sister, brother, cause you need help.
Right.
I need to do something to try to protect you. Come on, let's go call somebody. Or
Right.
Come sit in the car with me. That's us as women. Other people just don't want to get involved. Period.
Right.
You know,
And
a
that
lot of
happened
times
to
they don't
us.
wanna
What
get
was
involved.
that? Friday night, we were coming home, and all of a sudden I saw this. I know she was young, about 15, 16, or 17. She was just running fast. I'm like, what's wrong with that little girl? She was running through people's yards and everything. So I saw this young man, probably in his 20s. He was trying to catch her in the car. And I told my husband, I said, go follow that car. And so she went beating on people's doors trying to get in. So he was following her. And I told my husband, make sure you follow the car. So I guess she was trying to get to somebody's house. She was beating on the door, and they let her in. I don't know if she know her. And we was out there, and the man, where she ran, she was running through people's yards, so everybody was coming out. And then when he saw everybody coming, and he gonna look around, and then he gonna take out. I'm like, what is it happen if none of us would have came forward and he'd have got that young lady? Because she was running for her life. You could tell she was running from something. She was truly running. And I told my husband, I said, yeah, if we see something, we're going to call the police, I'm not saying we're going to get out, and because I had a friend that intervened or something, and he ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
For
that's
trying
why
to
a lot
stop
of people
like
don't
that.
want to help.
Yeah,
or do
but
anything.
what I
It's a
will,
lot of ways that you can help.
yeah,
without
like I
actually
said, we
physically
followed
putting
that
yourself
car
in
because
there.
she took out. I mean, that girl was running for her life. Something he was doing to her, she took out. And I say, that's not a regular jog. And then I started seeing people coming out because I guess she was beating on different people's doors, and finally somebody opened the door. But unless you're not aware that a lot of people won't even open the door,
A lot of
Yeah.
because there's so much stuff going on with crimes, with people trying to break in and they do stuff like that to get in your house.
Yeah.
So you really don't know who you can trust or who is really telling the truth.
Right.
But
I would still
guess-
call
I
911
guess
and
a
tell them to
woman's
come over
instinct,
there.
though. We have instinct, and you can kind of tell when something is
And
going
I could
on.
tell by us being in the car. I'm like, something wrong with this
Something
girl.
wrong.
She ain't
So
running
we
just
need to
to
call
be
911.
running.
We
Yeah.
need to follow. Yeah. So
So
your instinct.
scary.
kick
Yeah, I
in.
could tell something
Yeah.
wasn't right with that girl, the way she was running.
Y'all might not remember this, but I remember growing up as a kid, there were homes that had a red hand, like on a poster, in the window. And if a child was ever in trouble,
He
and
could
they
go to
see
that
that house with the red hand in the poster,
It was a safe.
it was
Safe
a safe
house.
house.
Yeah.
And I know my neighbor had one of those.
But then we got so many sick people
Yeah,
now in
right.
this world.
Yeah.
They'll put that,
Yeah.
right? It ain't like when you was little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even in
I was
Indianapolis.
That was in Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a safe haven. A
Yeah,
safe
right,
place
right,
for
right. For
kids.
kids.
Of
Make
course,
sure we check the
we
house out
got to make
first.
sure that person is well vetted,
Yeah.
because you don't want
Yes.
somebody
A
just to get it.
pedophile
It's
gonna
like,
get the sign.
Maybe
and
there should
ring.
be some kind of inspection done.
Right,
you know,
right,
like,
right.
Oh, you
Through
went through
CPS or
you went through
something,
this,
the
and this is
training
how you
class.
have this.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the only way you can achieve this is if you go through
try to have a
That'd be an excellent program.
Yeah.
It would be because I signed up for it immediately.
Yeah.
Because you just never know who may
And then,
or the domestic violence women.
Yes.
Yeah, they need a place to go. We can work on, yeah.
We know hospitals and
fire
houses, yes.
havens. We know that. Matter of fact, yes, they have something like that in Memphis.
Okay.
They have a symbol letting you know this is a safe haven.
Okay.
In certain places.
Okay.
I've seen that before.
Right.
But we don't have it here.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either.
But that's something we need to do or speak about.
We should bring it up to our city council.
Yeah.
Yes.
We might. That's what I was just going to say. We need to bring it up to the city council.
Because like I said, I saw that was just Friday night that happened. I mean, and she was literally running for her life. I'm like, she's not jogging. And then I could see her beating on the door, and then he was coming with the car. She was ducking and diving in there. I'm like, something. She running from something. Yeah. And then he saw people start coming out, and we was following him. Then he gonna go on. But I'm like, I hope she stays in a safe place.
Yeah.
You know.
Even in California, on the highways, I don't remember being in the residential neighborhoods, but every so many miles they have telephones on.
Yeah, they have those at U of H. I've seen. I don't know if TSU don't have those like in the parking lot. Yeah. They have the emergency phones. Yeah.
They're putting it on all campuses now.
Yeah, good.
There's so much going on the campus.
So much going on.
But yeah, that's a great idea because you never know. That could just be a little bit of the iceberg that you can help. And they can make even kids, because nowadays you have the grown-ups where they say don't say nothing, it's a secret between me and you.
Right.
And kids don't know because they're used to, you're the adult, you're supposed to protect them.
Right.
So I feel like that's something that we truly need and need to get on the ball with, because
we had the people on our show last week that were here from sex trafficking, and the lady we had on last night, she's running for city council, Niecy Hamilton. She was sold into sex trafficking at 11 years old by her grandmother.
Oh my God.
And because she was sold into it, and then she was homeless, forced into prostitution, doing stripping. She don't mind. She'll tell you because she don't want nobody else to tell her story. She don't tell her own story.
Yeah.
But then you got to understand, her mother was sold just like that. So her mother was sold, then they sold her. Just a cycle. Yeah. Wow. And then that's what we're trying to investigate, because her mom was found. She had been looking for a mom for like 2 years, and then finally somebody across the street that was in Fifth Ward told them they keep smelling this foul odor in the house. And by the time they got to the house, her body had disintegrated into the wood. Decomposed into the wood. That's so crazy. If they would have came out there 2 years before then, they could have found her. But they had like a strand of DNA or something they could took back to her. So that's what I'm saying. There's so much that's out there, and that's what we're doing, trying to, open up the case. And they said, well, because she was in sex trafficking, because she was a prostitute, that's what she deserved. No, that is not what. That has nothing to do with it.
It doesn't matter. A life is never supposed to be taken for granted like that. I don't care if I stood on the corner upside down on my head. If somebody bothers me or something happens to me, just take that. I hate when they want to bring up what you did in your past or what you did to get that. That's not the reason.
That's not
something else happened.
Yes.
I'm about to say, well, in some cases, it don't even be you. It be family members.
Yes.
You get judged by certain family members.
Right.
I don't like that at all.
Right. And so that's one of her pet peeves with the sex trafficking and the kids and all of that. And like you said, the domestic violence and all that. Something has to be done. And like you said last night when we were talking, and we don't talk about that, we can still talk in this place, but if nothing don't happen outside this wall, then we, what's the purpose of sitting here talking? If we don't take nothing, just talking, everybody can sit in here and talk. Okay, what are we going to do once we get out the room? That's where it comes. And I thank you for really sharing your story, because like I said, I've known Carol probably, I met her when I was 14. I'm 55. I never knew that about her.
You told your age.
Yeah, everybody know my age. I never
That's
knew
fine. You
that
don't
about
look it. You
Carol.
don't look it. It's okay.
I never knew that about Carol, and she said on here that you never knew that, and I've known her about 30, at least 35 years, and
That's what I be
never
telling
knew
her.
that.
I never told her
I
until I
never
got
knew
ready
that.
to.
She just told me that
To
tonight.
do my speech for the sisterhood.
Yeah.
She told me bits and pieces.
I told her bits
Okay.
and pieces. Like I never told her the full story. She
Right.
just knew that I
And
lost
how long
my
have
son.
y'all been friends?
Oh, for what? Almost 4 years now.
For real?
Yeah. It's been because look, we actually were working together. I was the manager, and we just clicked because we're both from out of town. So we just clicked, and when I found her drive.
So do you have to be comfortable with that person before you want to share your story?
It's not that. I just didn't want, because we were friends, I didn't want her to look at me in a different way. Again,
that's
yeah, okay.
Again,
When it came
that's
down to it, when we got really cool and started talking and stuff like that, she came up in her mind that I was gonna look at her different because she told me her story. That wasn't like when you be talking about how she looked. I never seen that.
We don't
so
see
I'm
that.
just like, what are you talking about?
We have no clue what you're talking
And so when I
about.
finally told her, she was like, "Why you didn't tell me earlier?" I was like, "Because I didn't want."
I was like, "You thought I was gonna judge?"
I mean, what can we say? But support you. That's all we can do. We can't do
But
anything
again,
but
like I
support
keep
you.
saying, it was me that I always this right here. Oh, they gonna look at you this way. Or they gonna say this. Or they talking about you.
So did any of the abusers say anything like that to you, or that just you thinking that in your mind?
Well, I know when I used when I was getting out of my marriage, he used to always say, "No one's ever gonna want you." And
For what reason?
He used to always say, I'll mess you up, or I'll make sure that won't nobody ever want you again. Especially when I had lost weight. See, when I was big, it wasn't a problem. Mm-hmm. When I lost the weight, that's when it became the problem.
That's my biggest.
Oh, then you wanted to help. Then you want to go to counseling. No, it's too late now. Like I've endured enough. I'm not finna keep enduring it. Then I'm young still. Like I'm turning 30, 31. Like no, I'm not going through this. So it was like no, I'm fed up. And I always said, you always know you're at a breaking point, and you never know how strong you are until you have to be in that breaking point.
Right.
And I never knew how strong I was till I was like, you know what? This is not it. I'm not doing it anymore. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I need your help. She was like, what? I was like, can you please get an appointment in my name? In your name for me? She was like, yeah. She got the appointment. I had one of my good friends I went to school with. She worked at this place. She was like, I can get you on. I had a job, car, boom, I'm gone.
Yes.
Nobody knew. I'm 100 and something miles away. I'm gone. And that's how I felt like I had to hide out. I felt like this was something that I had to do. And I kept saying, I need to do this, because if not, it's going to end bad. And that's the only thing I kept thinking about. This is going to end bad. I don't want any of my family, or especially my mom, because me and my mom had always been rocky, because I always thought my mom loved my older sister more than me, because my sister was the one who worked for child support. My sister, DPS trooper. I followed in my mom's footsteps and became a nurse, because my mom was a medication aide. So I always thought my mom loved my sister more, but when I told her that, she was like, no. And before my son got killed, me and my mom hadn't talked in about a year. We hadn't been on good terms. And when I lost my son, that's when me and her reconnected. And I call my mama 2 or 3 times a day now. Mm-hmm. What you doing later? I'm calling the boys. What you doing? And I hate that a tragedy had to happen in order for me and my mom
to realize
to be back. And it was me. It wasn't even my mom. It was just something that I thought, because, again, me on the outside looking in, I'm thinking like, well, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. And my mom was like, I love both of my kids equally.
Yes. And you see that now that you're a mom.
I see that now. Yeah. And, that's why I bug the mess out of my kids, especially my 2 daughters. They be like, ugh. But they call me on a daily basis. We call, FaceTime, each other. They call and check.
Okay.
And especially my oldest, she's a Capricorn, so I said she's the moody one.
Okay.
So she be like, I be like, you ain't text me today. She be like, oh, you did?
No.
I'm your mama. She be like, okay, well, if ain't nothing wrong, but they call, both of them check on me.
Right.
Just to, to see how I'm doing, or to tell me they love me. So I enjoyed it now. So and I always try to apologize for missing those 10 years I was out there.
Right.
And my baby girl, I really thought I was gonna have a hard time with her, but she always said, Mama, we missed a lot of time together, but we can make up now.
Yes, yes.
My baby called me, Mama, I just called to see y'all love you. And I'm like, oh, Mama love you too. It's the point that it's like we never stopped. Like, they never stopped knowing that I was their mom. So,
right. But you did the right thing because at the point, you couldn't take care of yourself. Yeah. So you were only doing that to protect them and keeping them safe. So as they got older, they'll understand that.
And it's just my son now. Like I said, we're going through. I feel that he was told something that wasn't incorrect. So when I have to tell him, hey, this is what happened. Like both of my daughters, I sat them down and told them.
Yeah, you tell them the truth.
Because I didn't want them to be told something else, which they were.
Right.
They both told something, and when I told them what really happened and why I made the decision I made, because I thought that's what I was doing, what was best for them
at the time. Yes.
And I always apologize. I'm sorry that it didn't turn out, and if I could change it, I would. But that's what happened.
At the time, you did what was best.
This is what I thought.
Yes, yes.
And my oldest, she stayed with me for a while here. She wants to move back, but she stayed here with me, and we just bonded. She had a tragedy. The reason why she moved back because she lost her grandmother.
Okay.
And so she was like, "Mom, I'm ready to come back." And I was like, I know, because, I always tell her our time was cut a little short.
Yeah.
But she my big baby and my baby girl, it's just my son. So once I reconnect with him, and I have an auntie who always tells me, he loves you and he knows you're his mom. It's just, he's upset of how things happened and how things went. So,
yes.
So I just pray on a daily basis, God just let him understand that was my only decision. It was either get them to my sister or get them to the state, and I refused to do that. I didn't want them to be split up because they had told me at the time they wouldn't take all three of them. They was going to split them up. So that was the decision I had to make.
And that was the right choice you felt in your heart.
Yes.
Before we end the show, anybody out there that's listening that's been through domestic violence and had a child killed through domestic violence, what would you like to tell them?
I would like to tell them they have to take it minute by minute, and you have to. For me, it took a while, and I know the choices I made wasn't the best choices for me. Mm-hmm. So I don't want anybody to fall into that cycle, because it's easy to fall into depression, drugs, alcohol, because that's what I did.
Okay. And
I felt like it took me a day to get in it, but it took me like 10, 12 years to get out of it. So I don't want people to have to go through that and feel like, oh, dang, it was easy to get in, it's hard to get out of. So if you can talk to somebody, if you can call somebody, I don't care, just call me, 832-372-8989. Call me, inbox me, talk to me, I will help. I mean, if I can do nothing but just drive to where you're at and help and talk to you.
Yes.
Or give a hug, because I don't want anyone to feel like they have to take their life, because I tried twice to take my life. So I don't want anyone to feel like that's their last decision that they have to make. It took me a long time. You have to forgive yourself, because I didn't forgive myself for a long time. So once you forgive yourself, you can take it day by day.
Okay.
And then you can take it week by week, and then month by month, and then year by year.
Okay.
And then I had to change how I celebrated him. His birthday is December the 17th, so instead of me crying in the morning, I do cry early that morning, but I celebrate him. I still buy a birthday cake.
Yes.
I still put the candles on and, wish him a happy birthday.
Yes.
I call the kid, and, his sisters, they know that it's his birthday. So I just try to keep his memory alive. So that's why I said I wanted to do a nonprofit. Maybe if I can do the nonprofit, I can help other women who's lost, not just women, even men who maybe have lost a kid by their ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, to help them, because I know for me, I didn't have anyone to talk to.
Yes.
So if someone is out there that you can talk to, or you feel comfortable enough to, a lot of times we have something that's pulling us to say, go to this person, go. That's the reason why.
Yes.
If you can go to that person and talk, then do it. I just don't want another life to be gone or another life to be taken, because that's the hardest thing. When that casket closes, no more. So, I still see his face, but I know that he's my angel now, and I know for a fact he's watching up for me. So,
that's a blessing. And anybody that is in that situation, they need to call me as 832-417-1696. So don't think that you're alone. And don't forget, our domestic violence event is October the 5th. and we're supplying 50 women from the domestic shelter with hygiene bags, with snacks and other products in there, and we're also providing toys and snacks and other items for their children also. So if you want to help with that, my Cash App is the $ Shining Stars 2020. We will be providing that for the women. And don't forget, on September the 14th, that's a Saturday from 10 to 2, we will be giving out school supplies for the children. We have enough for 250 children. So if anybody knows some kids that need school supplies, make sure that you let them know. They can contact me again, 832-417-1696. And also in November, we will be feeding the community for the Thanksgiving, and also in December we will be giving away toys. And I've also chartered a bus from First Class Tours that we will be taking children from 3rd Ward, 4th Ward, 5th Ward. We will be taking them out the community and taking them around to see Christmas lights in other areas. I want them to know that there is a River Oak, there is a Kingwood, there are other places besides these projects that we always see. So I want to involve them. And I'm just letting everybody know that I have set aside 15 seats for my children with disabilities. So if anybody has a child who has a disability, they're in a wheelchair, they need special accommodation, make sure you let us know, so we are willing to make any accommodation that needs to be, so these children will be able to participate in this event. So make sure you call. We are willing to make any kind of accommodation that we need to. You have anything else, Mr. Josh? Anything coming up? I want to thank Josh. I love him so much. Josh has always been by my side since day one. I had to attend a funeral this weekend, and Josh and Mr. Hale, they took on that school supply drive out there in that hot sun. They were out there. They got them school supplies done. And when they came home, he was so beat down. I'm like, I'm tired of this sun. But we had fans.
We had a good teamwork.
Yes, we had fans for the seniors and cases of water that they gave away. All the fans and all of the water for seniors was gone. And we gave away 30 of the 40 backpacks. So the 10 that's left, I'm going to make sure those children at the domestic violence shelter do get those. Okay? And go ahead and tell us one more time about your business, love.
Anita Touch Massage Therapy. You can find me on Instagram at Anita Touch, KNEADED.
All right. Is there a phone number, love?
832-785-3837.
And give us your hours.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And you're going to be a TSU graduate very soon,
yes,
right?
Ma'am.
We're so proud of
Yeah.
it. And we had another visitor to come in. Can you pass him the mic? You just don't come in here and sit down. So we don't do that. That don't happen. Can you introduce your friend, Mr. Hale? We don't do that around here.
This is my photography buddy, Herbert Hughes. And we are just like brothers, blood brothers. We talk every day, and we talk photography every day. And he is an excellent photographer.
Yes.
Just say a few words, sir.
Thank you for that introduction. I heard you had a lot of good things going on here, and I just want to stop by and see.
Thank
And
you.
It looks wonderful.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Short and sweet. Nobody can never come. Can you give us a song, DJ, real quick? Or we ain't get no song tonight.
I'm trying to get them cut this out of every problem after problem. They ain't answered it.
Anything you want to say before we get out of here, DJ?
It's going to get hotter.
You got all these lights on, DJ. So we want to thank everybody for coming out. Thanks for our live audience. I know I want to apologize to you. We had technical difficulties. We had to go get stuff. I am so sorry. But I commend Josh and DJ Game Type for entertaining y'all, keeping y'all informed. I really appreciate that. We work as a team together. So until next Tuesday, this is being Real Talk with Lady Hell. Make sure you join us next Tuesday.
The reason why I said to talk, they answered. They hung up.
You say you don't want to talk no more. You say that's it. All right. Until next Tuesday, this has been Real Talk with Lady Hell. Join us next Tuesday from 6 to 8:30 p.m. And I'm sorry, my babies. Y'all did not get y'all story time tonight, but I promise you, we will do the story time tomorrow. We just had a lot of things going on today, but we're going to get you. And I thank my boys and girls that's always on here. They were like, where's the story? We're going to get the story. I'm sorry, boys and girls. We trying to get the story. But until next week, like I say, this has been Real Talk with Lady Hell. Join me from 6 to 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday, and join my brother.
Paws Impact. We're Houston's first radio show dedicated to people living with HIV, their friends and family, and we are live on Mondays from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right, until next week.
Yes.
We will see you next time. Take us out, DJ. DJ say enough is enough.
I got diagnosed 2 years ago. Actually, will be 2 years ago. I got diagnosed in April, and it was a life changing. First, I shouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the drugs and the medication. And knowing your status is so important because I didn't have to suffer this. My T cell count was at 10 when I first got diagnosed, which is like 0 is the lowest and 800 is the highest, and I'm at a 10. And so that tells you that I was so sick. And so knowing your status, and that's because I was afraid as well too, to know my own status. And that's what I want to, that's the whole reason why for this podcast, is to bring more awareness about knowing your status and knowing that HIV is not a death sentence, but we do have to control it. And so U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable. So once you on a regimen, you become untransmitted, you can't pass it to anybody else. But how do you know that you can't pass it? Or how do you know that you're HIV negative? Is by continuing taking blood tests every 3 months. So going to your doctor, if you're sexually active, continue taking PrEP, or ask about PrEP to your physician if that's something that you're interested in. It does help for people who like to have natural sex. And, you know, there's people who are out there who want this. And so we have the opportunity to be able to have frank conversations with people who are currently taking PrEP, people who have been a long time HIV positive, who have been living it for 30 plus years, 20 plus years. We want to, you know, bring the conversation back to the community. We want to be able to make sure that the community knows that HIV doesn't have a face. It's all of us. You know, it gets better. That's my recommendation. And go get tested. If you're afraid, go with a friend. There's support groups all over Facebook. There's support groups all over in the LGBT community. You don't have to be gay in order to be in the support group. There's several heterosexual only support groups. We want to make sure that there is that you have hope. And if you don't know anybody, contact me, reach out to me. I will guide you through. If you're not in Houston, we will FaceTime me. Now you can FaceTime me the entire time there, and I will walk you through the process. You know, we are in this together, and I want to make sure that we end the stigma of HIV. And we can only do this is by addressing it head on. And I want to make sure that people feel safe and they feel loved. And, you know, when it was super hard for me to tell my family and friends. And if you don't feel like talking to me, then I can reach out to another provider. We will get you connected to somebody who will make sure that you are safe, first of all. And second of all, is make sure that we're going to know your status. And then once you know your status, either we're going to get you on PrEP if you're sexually active, and we're going to recommend it to you, or if you are HIV positive, then we will get you on drugs immediately. And the drugs now today are not the drugs that were 20 years from now. My doctor is very conscious of my liver. My doctor is very conscious of my bones. She wants to make sure that I stay healthy. And those are the medications that are out there now. So there's so many types of medications that will help you. But the first thing we have to do is to get tested.
My name is Antonio T. Smith Jr. In 2005, I had a close family member die to HIV. And to be honest with you, I'm still probably not even supposed to know it. In fact, the only reason I know it is because an angry family member said it in anger and it slipped out. And that's how I found out. And that's why I'm so passionate about this podcast, because I'm tired of people like me, family who would support and who would have loved on my cousin. She died alone. She died in the hospital bed, completely alone, because I didn't know, and because I was too busy playing basketball than being with my cousin. And I'm very passionate about what Josh Mica does. He wants to change the world, and I hope all of you contact him. And that's why I'm so extremely passionate about this podcast. But I suffer every day that I let my cousin die alone, because 2005 made me an ally, but I shouldn't have to go through a death like that to become an ally. All of us should be allies. That's my story, and that's why Josh is doing this podcast, and that's why we're here.
Now I finally build it back up, 'cause I've had enough. It's a minefield in my mind, and I'm headed for destruction. Mama, tell me it's alright before I turn to nothing.